Welcome to the Explainer. Look, today we're completely transforming how you look at language objectives. Because, let's be real, for a lot of us, writing an objective on the board, it kind of feels like just another dry administrative checklist item, right? You scribble it up there, the students completely ignore it, and you just move on. But what if we took that tiny, mundane daily move and turned it into a massive, high-impact instructional tool? Well, that's exactly what we're unpacking today.
And by the end of this explainer, you're going to have the exact equation you need to transform your instruction as early as tomorrow morning. Here's our roadmap. What is a language objective? The strategic why, the core equation, some weak versus strong showdowns, the classroom toolkit, and we'll finish up with draft your own lesson. Let's dive right in.
Section 1, what exactly is a language objective? So we got to start by clearly defining our terms before we actually build out this pedagogical toolkit. Because, if we don't know exactly what we're aiming at, we're literally never going to hit the target. Now, take a look at how the arrows here visually anchor language objectives right within the broader ELD framework. Language development is absolutely not an island. It serves as this incredibly critical piece of intentional language support for both integrated and designated English language development. Whether you're scaffolding participation or building up that background knowledge, the objective acts as the compass for the entire ecosystem. So the crucial point here is the actual definition. A true language objective is a measurable goal. And honestly, that word measurable is doing a whole lot of heavy lifting here. It outlines exactly how students are going to use and practice English, whether that's through listening, speaking, reading, or writing during your specific lesson. Put simply, it's the mechanism that ensures English learners get real access to grade-level content while actively, visibly developing their academic language skills. Moving on to Section 2, the strategic why. Okay, let's dive into the strategic why. Why do we actually need to put these on the whiteboard and systematically teach to them? Well, let's look at 3 main reasons. First up, it makes expectations crystal clear by just completely removing the guesswork. Have you ever asked a class to discuss something and you just get total blank stares? Yeah, we've all been there. That's usually because the language expectation just wasn't set. With a strong objective, students know exactly how they are expected to communicate during that specific lesson. There's literally no mystery. Second, language development isn't just siloed into some random 30-minute block of the day. These objectives intentionally drive growth across both integrated and designated ELD contexts. It basically builds a linguistic bridge between learning the English language itself and then actually applying it in your math, science, or history class. And third, this brilliantly illustrates how we provide the necessary linguistic scaffolding for English learners to actually tackle those really rigorous academic standards. It literally unlocks grade-level content. It's like saying to the student, hey, I'm not going to lower the academic bar for you. Instead, I'm going to give you the exact language tools you need to reach it. All right, Section 3, the core equation. Now, knowing why they matter is great and all, but knowing how to actually build one, that is where the magic happens. Think of this as your ultimate fail-proof formula. Student interaction plus language function plus content standard plus measurable outcome equals a true language objective. Math teachers, you are absolutely going to love this one. But seriously, if you're missing any one of these 4 pieces, your objective is kind of just going to fall flat. Let's look at the breakdown and see how this all builds sequentially. First, you ask about student interaction. How will they actually work together? Are they going to pair share, debate, or collaborate? Second, the language function. What's the cognitive language task here? Are they explaining, justifying, or maybe analyzing? Third is the content connection. What is the actual academic standard or topic? And finally, fourth, the measurable output. How will you actually measure that success at the end of the lesson? Is it through complete sentences, maybe sequential transition words, or cited evidence? Which brings us to Section 4, weak versus strong showdowns. To really cement this idea, we're going to put this exact equation to the test with some back-to-back subject showdowns. First up, science. Just listen to this weak version. Students will learn about weather. It's totally vague and completely unmeasurable. How do you even measure learning? But look at the strong version right next to it. It hits all 4 parts of our equation perfectly. Interaction, they'll collaborate. Function, to explain. Content, the causes of weather patterns. And the measurable output, using complete sentences. Just like that, boom, you as the teacher have a super clear roadmap for exactly what you're looking for. Okay, looking at math next. The weak objective here is students will do fraction word problems. Notice how this focuses exclusively on the task, with literally 0 language expectation. But check out the strong version.
Students will pair share to justify their fraction solutions using sequential transition words. Look at how rich that is. We aren't just solving math problems anymore, we're actively using language. They're pair sharing to justify, and we're actually holding them accountable to sequential transition words like first, next, and therefore. Huge difference. And finally, let's look at ELA. The weak objective is super passive. Students will read the story and answer questions. It completely lacks any specific output constraints. But the strong version? It says students will debate the main character's motives using cited textual evidence. Moving from passive reading to actively debating motives with cited evidence, no less, completely elevates the academic discourse in your room. Honestly, it changes the entire energy of the lesson. Moving on to Section 5, the Classroom Toolkit. So now that we know what a truly strong 4-part objective looks like, let's break down how to actually support your students in achieving it tomorrow. Because, let's face it, writing it on the board is only step 1. The real goal is to integrate language practice across the entire 45-minute block. We don't just point to the objective at the start of class and then totally forget about it. No, we plan for students to actively use language in literally every single phase of instruction. At the minute 5 warm-up, the minute 20 direct instruction, the minute 35 guided practice, all the way to the minute 45 exit ticket. And to make that happen, you can immediately deploy this toolkit. First, use sentence frames to really scaffold their output. Give them the academic starter phrase so they can free up cognitive space to focus on the content. Second, use turn and talk prompts, but here's the twist. Assign clear roles. Partner A is the speaker, partner B listens and paraphrases. This structures the interaction so absolutely nobody can hide. And third, use discussion structures like think, pair, share to ensure proper wait time before you go ahead and measure their output. Let's wrap up with Section 6, draft your own lesson. Okay, I want you to grab a pen or open a blank document because it's time for some direct application. We want you to use this framework for your very next class period. Actually, use this exact frame to write your objective right now. Just fill in the blanks. Students will insert your student interaction, to insert your language function, about insert your content connection, using insert your measurable outcome. Whether it's collaborate to analyze historical events using academic vocabulary, or maybe pair share to describe cell division using sentence frames, go ahead and write it down. And as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a slightly provocative thought to reflect on for your own exit ticket. Take a look at that objective you just wrote. How exactly will this specific, small move you just drafted unlock grade-level content for your English learners tomorrow? Like, what actually changes when you demand that level of visible language use in your classroom? Think about it, apply it, and just watch the impact it has on your students' academic discourse. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.